Welcome back to round 3 of the Gamefight Show March Mayhem Tournament. I am Rob, and I'm here today with...
your co-host, Brendan.
Whoa, Brendan, the heat is too hot. Round 3, you, me, and you know what? I don't think one expert commentator is going to be sufficient in this round. What are we going to do?
I think we better bring in 2.
Whoa! Well, what do you know? I'm looking over here to my left and to my right, and who do I see but the beautiful faces behind the wonderful game design BMF Road to Infamy Games? We have Andrew Nerger back at the mic.
Hello, hello.
And with him is his right-hand man, or he is the left-hand man of one...
Jeffrey Chin.
Jeff Chin!
Oh boy, guys. We brought you back, and we're not making this one easy for you. We have 2... we've used the word Titans many times here in the tournament. This is not a case where that doesn't apply. We have Gloomhaven coming up against that Euro classic, the shining castle on a hill, Castles of Burgundy. You know what? I'm going to turn it right over to Andrew. Tell me, what are you thinking here?
This is a classic battle of old school versus new school. 2-hour setup time versus maybe a 20-minute setup time. This is going to be insane. I don't know what's going to happen. I'm honestly confused.
You know what? I am bewitched, bothered, and bewildered, which I think those are all states that characters can achieve in Gloomhaven.
I think if you get bewitched, you have to draw 4 cards.
Yes. Gloomhaven came out 2017. One of the behemoths of the crowdfunding movement.
You know, this is really exciting, Rob. When Gloomhaven came out, people were pumped because what it did is it brought Euro mechanisms and Euro strategy to an otherwise fully luck-based kind of realm of dungeon crawls. You know, people who are tired of dusty old Euros like Castles of Burgundy, now they can kill monsters and find treasure and still be using their brains a bit. I think there's a lot of people who saw Gloomhaven as taking the trash out of Ameritrash.
Jeff, what do you have to say? I know that you're a Gloomhaven devotee.
That's right. And I have Castles of Burgundy as well. I'm fans of both, making it a hard choice for me. I know one of these games is coming in here as a pretty big underdog, with the other one being, you know, the number one hotness game on Board Game Geek for a long time through, you know, last year and maybe longer. Gloomhaven is a big powerhouse in this tournament. And I think it's going to take a major upset in order to dethrone them here.
Oh, you couldn't be more right. Yes, Gloomhaven coming in at the number 1 seed. It's already taken out Kingdom Death Monster and Seven Wonders Duel. Now here it is up against the scrappy 15th seed, Castles of Burgundy. There's no 7 in this title. I don't know if that's going to affect its chances of success here or not, but I can tell you one thing. After watching Castles of Burgundy take out just powerhouses, like in its first round, it came up against Concordia, and then no rest for the wicked. It took out Mage Knight. Now, I've said it before. Mage Knight isn't Gloomhaven. And once again, I don't want people taking my words and twisting them. Mage Knight, it is not Gloomhaven. But it has, you know, Brendan, you were talking about the feel that Gloomhaven has of a bit of a Euro game, but it's a dungeon crawler. Well, you know, Mage Knight, it is a full Euro dungeon crawler, and I don't know what that portends, what that foretells. How that...
You know, if I can translate for you, Rob, for a moment here, I think what you're saying is Mage Knight is Gloomhaven, and Castles of Burgundy already took it down.
What?
Well, you know,
Stefan Feld should be so lucky. I want to take a second here. These games aren't created in a vacuum. You know, it's easy to, if you're taking sort of the wide look here, to say that this is Isaac Childress against Stefan Feld. But that's not fair. There are publishers here, there are artists here, there are graphic designers here, and they're all part of what makes these games so special.
You know, Rob, I think you have a good point there. And thinking about art in particular, Castles of Burgundy has seen a resurgence since they did the updated art anniversary edition. I found out, I think last time we talked about it being the 20th anniversary edition, but it's not a 20-year-old game. It's the 20th anniversary of the publisher. That's why they called it that.
Mm-hmm.
But so I think Castles of Burgundy is fresh on everybody's mind because it's got that fresh coat of paint. But, you know, Gloomhaven's got on everybody's mind because of this Frosthaven business. And I suspect that's bringing some people to the yard that weren't coming for other milkshakes.
Should we do a quick check-in and see where Frosthaven is at right now?
Yeah, it was 500,000, I believe, was the goal. Because, he wasn't sure he was going to get funded, I imagine. While we're recording right now and I'm looking at it, it's really struggling along at $7.5 million. Yeah, that's just, that's too bad. You don't want to see a project like that slip. So Jeff and Andrew, how do you think Frosthaven or the new Castles of Burgundy paint job are affecting the way the voters feel about these games today?
I mean, I think Frosthaven gives Gloomhaven such a advantage just in the relevancy department, right? Everyone's thinking about it. It's on everyone's minds. It's fresh. It's the hottest thing out there right now. So, I mean, if Castles of Burgundy is going to overtake this, there better be some compelling arguments for I know you were talking about the artwork and the other components that go into this, and not just game design. Castles of Burgundy needs to be a whole package deal to take down Gloomhaven.
I think you are, this is why we bring in heavy hitters for our commentary like this. I think you hit the nail on the head of the troll in the dungeon. It's an uphill battle here for, I'm going to say, am I mistaken when I say that Castles of Burgundy is a 2011 release?
No, I think you're right on that one, Rob.
And it's up against Gloomhaven, which, it's only 6 years newer, but it really feels like it's sort of from a different era of design. These generations of game design are certainly getting shorter and shorter.
Jeff, your comment about relevancy brings to mind something I heard through the Twitter grapevine. Aaliyah has already sort of teased that at Gen Con this year, they were planning to announce a sequel called Castles of Tuscany. I wonder if they made a mistake waiting that long instead of announcing it in time for the bracket.
I think you're not wrong. And you know what? Here's the thing. Both of these games, Frosthaven and Castles of Tuscany, I mean, we could be talking about them this time next year. They could be working their way through the charts. I can tell you, these charts are dynamic from year to year. The faces change, although often there are a lot of publishers and there are a lot of designers that keep coming back, not to mention artists. As a matter of fact, I'm looking at the grid here. I think that Puerto Rico, which is another Euro game that's really been holding its own here, that's another Ravensburger game.
It sure is. This company, they never slow down. They're always putting forth really strong Euros, really strong contenders in the bracket. I think we're never going to see a year where we don't have a couple Ravensburger or Aaliyah games floating through the charts, just knocking Ameritrash games down left and right.
Mm-hmm. Getting into the designers a little bit, Isaac Childress, he's an Ameritrash designer. He's an American boy, California born and bred, got his doctorate at Purdue and still lives there in Lafayette, Indiana, America's heartland. I don't know, maybe that helps him get in touch with the mind of John Q. Gaming Public. Whereas, Stefan Feld, he's all the way across the pond right now, and I wonder if that sort of puts him at a little bit of distance from some of the voting public here.
I will say I do know that Stefan, maybe this is one difference or advantage Feld has in terms of helping stay in touch with the public. Stefan Feld is a school principal by day, and game design is still not his full-time job, as opposed to Isaac Childress, who has jumped feet first into Cephalofair Games.
Well, they're both designers who put out several games, although Childress has nothing on Stefan Feld. Stefan Feld, I think he might have 28 games to his name so far. A lot of them, he's working with the same publisher and the same designer for his art, that Harald Lisk. Sorry for the mispronunciation, Harold. But that team, it's a team that keeps coming back together and it keeps putting out successful ventures.
Andrew, when you're playing one of these games, Gloomhaven or Castles of Burgundy, what's the thing that makes you come back to the table time and time again? What's one thing, if you had to tell one person one thing about one of these games, what's the premier jewel?
Obviously, the premier jewel of Gloomhaven is that there's 100 campaign scenarios. So as soon as you've played it, there's reason to come back. And that legacy setting is so amazing for keeping that play interesting again. Now, Castles of Burgundy, I might be a bit biased, but the only time I come back to that game is when I forget about it and I forget how little fun I had.
Brendan and I hold ourselves to the strictest of codes of journalistic objectivity, but it's great having some people who aren't afraid to throw a couple punches here. Andrew, giving it to you straight.
Right on the kisser.
So, I talked about the sort of Atlantic divide here between the voting populations for March Mayhem. I was looking into it. I wonder if artist Harold Lisks, if his work in his band, ZMT, is going to bring its audience to the ballots with him and give a sort of a boost to Castles of Burgundy.
I hope so, Rob. That'd be I don't know why we aren't seeing more designers and publishers doing that. Stefan Feld could tell his entire school's children to come vote.
Oh, that's a good idea. Speaking of sort of creative cross-pollination, Jeff, am I mistaken that you've been on the stage as a musical performer yourself?
I have indeed. Andrew has as well. Back in high school, we were in a ska band. I played guitar and sang, and Andrew played the drums, so we have a good amount of stage experience.
What instrument did you play, Jeff, or do you play?
I mostly play bass guitar now.
Interestingly, so does Harold. Let's take a listen to some of his stuff. You hear him holding down that tight bass. That's a Rumbar by ZMT off their album Under Urschlitz, which means the other hand.
Under Urschlitz! Rob, if there was going to be one deciding factor here, I think which creative team has at least a member that's in a band is certainly going to be that deciding factor. So the question the voters have to ask themselves is, how musical is Isaac?
He has a PhD in physics. I don't know if it's sort of acoustics that he's focused on, but I'm thinking that maybe this gives a little bit of an advantage here to Team Castles of Burgundy. We're talking about beautiful games. We're talking about well-made games. We're talking about games made by thoughtful designers. You know what that makes me think of? That makes me think of Road to Infamy games.
Road to Infamy!
Last time we had Andrew on, he was talking about the incredible Pay What You Want sale that they were putting on for their excellent dice-rolling Tomb Raider Crypt. Is that sale still going on?
It is not. We sold out within the first 12 hours.
Whoa!
Well, so unfortunately, it sounds like people are not going to be able to purchase a copy of Crypt from you right now. If only there were something new that you could offer them.
So we have a new game. Canvas goes live April 21st on Kickstarter. It's a transparent card game. You collect these transparent art cards, and you can kind of layer them together to create your own illustration as you can see through the cards, and it kind of layers different graphic elements on top of each other. In doing that, you're creating your own composition and also a sequence of icons that you're trying to match to the scoring criteria of the judges. So if you can collect the right icons and layer your cards so that you cover and reveal the perfect combinations, you can score ribbons and hopefully win Best in Show. So it's kind of puzzly, it's strategic, but it's also very light, has the fun painting theme, so it's a very approachable game that you can learn in less than 5 minutes, but tons of strategy and replayability that come with the alternate scoring cards that you can play with.
It's a beautiful and unique take on the card building game. Do yourself a favor, don't sleep on this one. Find your way over tomorrow. What time are we starting? I want people lined up outside of your door with their money in their hands on Kickstarter.
This will go live at 4 p.m. Central Time.
That sounds like the magic hour.
You know it.
Well, I assume Canvas will be on the bracket next year, but we still have to figure out this first bout in the third round of the Mayhem Tournament right now. And to do so, I need all of you good people to go over to Twitter.
Go to Twitter!
Go to Twitter at GameFight Show.
At GameFight Show. And
vote. Oh, there's the gong, and unless I'm wrong, that means it's time for us to throw over to Eleanor for the results from the final bout in the second round of the March Mayhem Tournament.
All right, I'm here with your results. We say it every time, but these matches are close. This bout proved it in spades. As Through the Ages and Great Western Trails bout was a dead heat, it'll have to be decided in a sudden death rematch. What a wonder to live in interesting times. Back to you all.
Oh my goodness. What a world. I just couldn't see that result coming. What about you guys?
It's a stunner!
Well, I'm going to thank Eleanor for giving us those heartbreaking results. And on behalf of myself, Brendan, and our public, I would like to thank our special guest commentators, Andrew Nerger and Jeff Chin.
And I thank you, Rob, for your excellent hosting.
And until tomorrow, I'm going to say farewell.
Brought to you by Rattlebox Games.